So let's go back into our story, second story of the Melech and the Kesar, the king and the emperor. And we have the emperor's daughter. This is a metaphor that the Rebbe has put together here. It's absolutely unbelievable for those of us who really love Tikkun and love the chance to be close to Hashem. Think about this. He says that the emperor's daughter, he has said before, is our neshama. So the neshama which we have found, and now we're trying to guard our way, and we found our way into the Yama Chachma. So the Yama Chachma is this number 50, and it represents where Chachma resides. And this tremendous Kedusha that the neshama basks in, and she's managed to save 11 princesses who are represented by the Pitom Ketaras, by the 11 different types of Ketaras. Each one of them is a spark of Kedusha that really comes from her and that's lost. And now she's been able to pull them out. And she has them with her, and they're on this boat. This boat, he said before, is a metaphor for our bodies. Now, all of this, the Kedusha, is inside of you or me, and me. And so we see like this, is that she's sailing along, and all of a sudden they come to an island in the sea. Now, the word island is the word I-ayam. It's Aleph, Yud. Is that right? Aleph, Yud, not Yud, Aleph. 1 second. No, it would be Aleph Yud. Aleph Yud in Gematria is Aleph is 1 and Yud is 10. So that makes 11. Now she has these 11 princesses, and here is an island, which is an Hayam in the Sea of Chachma. Now what's it really mean here? So what could it be? I'm speculating, just like, there's so many possibilities. Once that Rav Schick has delivered to us the thinking of the Rebbe, and then how deep it runs, we could start make a little kind of ideas here. He doesn't go off on this. But you have 11, which is represented by this, these Gazlana, these really evil people who represent the 11 sons of Esav plus Esav himself, number 12. And here you have these 11 beautiful princesses, which are gems, absolutely gems of Kedusha, plus the neshama itself matched up against them. Could be that when you're in the Sea of Chachma, that the other side's not dead. The other side is alive and actively trying to get a hold of the Kedusha. So it matches itself up. Remember, Esav is our twin brother. So the story goes like this. So now she's talked them into the idea of getting married. They're going to share their wealth. And she's smart. And she's been able to talk to this evil force that is really getting a hold of them, because it's out there in the Sea of Chachma. It knows how to attach itself. And she says to them like this. The story goes like this. So after that she said to them, that she should honor them with this beautiful wine that she has on the boat. That she has in the boat. That they've never had something like this. Raku tomon etzlo ad yom sheyazamen lach Hashem yizbarach hazivug shala. So she said, this is wine that was never touched, and the whole purpose of this wine is because someday the 12 of us are going to get married, and we're going to have a big celebration with this most delicious wine you've ever tasted. Now, this he says like this. So this is the guarded wine. Shechala eskala kali. It has the possibility to be able to destroy all of the klipos. Kamuva, so I'm going to read the Raya Mehemna, because I found this. He gave us a site reference. It's at Raya Mehemna in Parshas Pinchas, Daf Reish Lamed Vav Amud Aleph. And this is what he quotes from there, and I'm going to read this. This is not a big Raya Mehemna. Now, there's much more to the Raya Mehemna that we'll get to in a second. It's a tzaddik yisod, yesadik, the tzaddik, yisod be, sod de'ihu yayin the meshuvar. The tzaddik, his yisod, which means his regeneration apparatus, be, sod de'ihu yayin the meshuvar b'chanov. This is wine that is guarded inside of the grape itself. M'shesh Shemei Bereshis, from the 6 days of Bereshis. V'heim pamayim vav, and there are 2 times the letter vav. Mesitra the Yamina, Mesitra the smaller, from the right side and from the left side. Let me go over here and read the Raya Mehemna that I found over here in the Matok Medevash. Now, if you have a Matok Medevash, It's in Parshas Pinchas. It's on page Shin Daled Mem. It's at the very bottom. And we'll just read the Matok Medavash. So the Matok Medavash says, first of all, if I haven't said it before, I'm going to say it now. The Rai Mehemna means the faithful shepherd. It refers to the Shomo Moshe Rabbeinu. Because when Rebbe Shimon wrote this down and Moshe Rabbeinu would come, he would come because he's the lawgiver. He's the one that really brought us the Torah, right? He's Moshe Rabbeinu, it's our teacher. So they call him when we deal with laws, when he wants to deal with rules and laws, he brings in this section in the Zohar, which is called the Rai Mehemna, the faithful shepherd, which refers to Moshe. And it says, Omar Od, not at the very bottom of this page, Yalayhu Itmar, and this it says, Ala Meraglim. On the Meraglim it said, and we understand the Meraglim are guys that turned on us. Ne'ema Schata Anavim. They squeezed out grapes. Pirush Heim Garmo Shahamalchus. So what they did, they caused the Malchus, Shehi Sod Chava, which is the secret of Chava. We have an Adam, which is a number 45, but we have a Chava, which is number 19. Schata Anavim. So that she caused Chava to squeeze out the juice that was in the grapes. V'na'asa yayin, and it made a kind of wine, a mishacher, which makes a person drunk. Ha'akor b'shmarav, which has become blackened in its leaves. When you refine out wine, so what happens is that there's a physical part of it which is really worthless, and it falls to the bottom over a course of time. And the bottom of it is dark. And the upper part, the higher you get in the wine, then the more pure the drink is itself. But the tzaddik, his yisod, as netzach and hod. Now this is an Indian about netzach and hod, what we call the nai, netzach hod yisod. Yisod is in between the right leg and the left leg, which are called netzach and hod. Oz beis sod deichu k'misper yayin, because over there, but the tzaddik, he has a secret. And that secret is the number is called yayin, because the word sod is samach is 60, vav is 66, and dalet is 4, makes 70. Yayin is yud, yud is 20, plus 50 is 70. So we understand the gematrias when they're equal to each other, and they have the same meaning in some way, but you see that the word sod and the word yayin don't go together exactly, but there we understand intrinsically they are. So what he wants is like a mispar yayin hameshumer b'ranova. This is wine that is still guarded inside of the grape itself. Hainu bavak. So what does he mean by that? He says that this is talking about the goof of Zer Anpin. The goof of Zer Anpin is 6 kitzvos: Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisod. M'shesh Shemei Bereshis, from the 6 days of Bereshis. Vavak, this vav kitzvos, is Nekrayim Shesha Shemei Bereshis. It's called the 6 days of Bereshis, which is also true because the world Zer Anpin, the world that we understand, was created out of avak, out of 6. It was 6 parts only. The inun shis dargin the as vav. These are the 6 different levels of the letter vav. So we could take a level, like we said before. Take the levels, which are Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, and Hod. Shehem Sheish Madrego Shel Os Vav to Tiferes, which is the letter Vav represented by Tiferes, which is the goof of Zer Anpin. It's also our goof too, because we're an outside version of that, a reverse, as I said before, a reverse hologram. Vehem Nimshachem B'Yisod. So this kedusha, which is the way that the flow of energy from the height through the body goes. It goes from Chesed back to Gevurah. In the middle is Tiferes. Then it goes to Netzach and Hod, and in the middle is Yisod. Yisod is a pool, and all of the other 5 pool into it, and that's what he said. Ve'em nimshachem b'Yisod kushuhu kalo b'kol avak, which is an incorporation, a kolel, that's another word for a pool. Besod shokav amudei sheish, where he says that his hips, or rather his legs, shokav, are columns of sheish, of 6. Now sheish could also mean marble, but it's a play on words, all these different things. Now think about the metaphor that's going along here, where we have the matchup between the side of evil and the side of kedusha. We have the neshama, the 11 bits of Betumi Ketores. We have the other side, Esav, and we have his 11 Shvatim. So let's see how this is going to work out and what she's going to do. Let me see. So he says, where was I? Okay. So by having this yayin, which is mishumar, this special wine, that this wine has the ability to be able to fix up the mistake that Adam and Chava made. Yan Sachtala. This is the line that we have he brings a pasuk from the Medrash in Bereshis Rabbah, Parsha Samach Tes. He said, "V'chein nitaken chet meraglim," and also it made a tikkun, can make a tikkun for the sin of the spies. V'yisauch b'mot b'shnayim, and he said that they carried it on a pole by two. So the poles really represent Netzach and Hod, probably. I don't know the whole metaphor there. So then he says, Ein Sham. Says of the Nasa Lachem Hayayin V'Shneim Azer Geviyim. So that she gave him the wine in 12 different cups. Shezera V'Sod Serafim Omli Mema'alo. So this is the secret. Rav Schick brings this pasuk, and he says this is that the fiery angels stood up above him. Shesh kanfayim. Each one of them had 6 wings. 6 wings, 6 wings. 6 wings sounds like 6 wings on one side, 6 wings on the other side. This giving a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It goes a lot deeper. Shesh kanfayim le'echad. Each one of them had 12 wings. Pamayim shesh. It's 2 times 6. So she said, each one of you now has to take a drink from each one of these 12. They drank. Each one of them drank from these 12, and they got drunk, and they fell. Because now we're talking about this special wine that she has. This special wine has two powerful things it can do. One thing is a kedusha. It can mend the mistake of Adam v'Chava. It can even mend the mistake of the Meraglim. That was what was in the Parsha and the Raya Mahemna. But it also is an overwhelmingly powerful light. It says, she says, this is a revelation of the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. He calls it the Yisbarach Misgalo, or Yisbarach. Because a person who's Talmudic, it gets involved in this, and a person who's not fit to it, he falls in drunkenness because it's an overwhelming light. This is a light that can fix everything which wants to be kadosh. So that a person not able to stand on his feet anymore, his battle, and he has to be nullified because the wine. I said several times before, the light of the Ein Sof is a life of nothingness, of its absolute perfection. It has no diminution in it at all. So the person that is exposed to the higher part of this light will cease to exist. Don't get close to the mountain, right? Stay away, because you will cease to exist. But what happens if a person is, so it has also a power to bring a Torah into the world, to bring the tremendous power of all the goodness there is in the world, could bring all of this in. What happens if the person really only wants to suck it up for his own glory and for his own physical appetite? That person will be nullified by it. Now the Bas Keser, he says, this Bas Keser is acting in the secret of Yosef HaTzadik, who's a Kedusha V'Tahara, who's absolutely perfectly pure and absolutely perfectly kadosh. Tikkun Abris, who represents the proper use of the sexual energy. Shmiras HaYisod, that she guards the Yisod, that is, that only the reproduction should only be for the purpose of the higher purpose and for Kedusha. To the girls, that is the neshama, the aspects of these 11 princesses, Shehem ha'achad aser shvatim, which represents the other 11 tribes. L'chu v'shachtu kol achas as bala. Each one of you has to kill now, to shecht your husband. So he said, Ki achshav hu hazman nishchot es aklipos shnis achsa b'chem. Because now you realize that you 11 have been tied up and grabbed by all of these bad qualities, and now's the time to get them off of you. And they went and they killed them all. This is what's going to happen at the time of the ultimate redemption. Sheyukuyim, where it's the pasuk in Nevadia, v'olamoshim b'har Sion. You probably heard this before. And their Savior will come up to the Mount of Zion. The Shpot is Har Esav, to judge the mountain of Esav, which is equal to him. He's our twin. And then the kingdom will be for Havaya. Now this is another sentence. So now that they killed all of these klipos. Now they find that it's in the island of the island of the 11 plus Esav is a tremendous amount of wealth. There's a monster shama shirish move of unbelievable wealth. Shelo choya etzel shum melech, no king had money like this. Ki hotzia eskola gedushos sitra achra bala, because what did they bring out? All this tremendous amount of kedusha that these gazlanim had been able to take, that are part of the neshamas of the Jewish people that they have pulled to their side, which unfortunately they have the power to do that. They all agree they're not going to take any brass, they're not going to take any silver. All they will take jewels and gold, that's it. So this is all of the kedusha, the very most special kedusha, that they want to take the top kedusha. It's called Bar Yisrael. Every single Jew has tremendous amount of kedusha in him. Because for sure we see that even next to the simplest Jew, the simplest of the simplest, he has sparks of truth, dots and points of truth in him. So what a person is able to fulfill in the mitzvahs of Hashem, the lome, this Torah, so Kedusha, and able to learn a shtickle Torah, the mispalo malav Yisbarach, and pray to him, gam batoch kol bilbulim, even in all the confusion in a person's lives, all the mistakes that a person makes, yesham nekudas emes, there is some dots and different points of truth there. They sent out from their bodies, which is their boat, they sent out from the boat, the things that weren't really important. That is, different kinds of kedushas that were actually penetrated too deeply by the klipos. Shehem hamachshavos zaros, which are what? Machshavos, which are bad thoughts that people have. As zez zarko. So they threw away all of their bad thinking. And they filled the whole boat with precious things, zahav, gold and silver, gold and precious jewels that they found there. Now he says like this. Rav Schick writes like this. The Rebbe wants to say, he's able to do this. He's able to separate the good out of the bad. We're mixtures. That's where we always are. We have an Eitzah inside of us. He brings in Lukuti Maran Chelik Aleph Siman Reish Pei Beis. Tzaddik hu habal tefillah. The tzaddik is the master of prayer. This is the person who really knows how to play. Shuhu mispalo im kol hatov shall call am yisrael, that he prays with all of the goodness that he prays for the Jewish people. So he's busy in the business of taking away the bad from the good, taking away the good from the bad. Now they agreed amongst themselves that they're not going to go anymore looking like women. And so they sewed for themselves garments of men. Malvushe Ashkenaz. They would put on German clothing, that is the European clothing. And they went in with their boat, which is their bodies. So they put on their bodies, these German clothes. So this is a sod of a pasuk. So it gets into, the Rebbe gets into a little diuk here, a little shift in tone. So he says that this is the secret. This ad masai techachmakim habasa shoveva. How long? This is a quote from a pasuk in Yirmiyah. How long will they slip away the daughter the captured daughter? Ki barach havaya chadasher ba'aretz nekeva tosoviv gever. So he said because he created something new in the world, something new ba'aretz, in the land. The Keva to Sovev Gever. Now this is a concept. It's really basic concept, which we're going to see in our classes on Sod. And we're going to see that the Nekeva, the woman, surrounds the man. Now, right here, Rav Schick says this is like a new idea, a nuance, that in other words, she puts around herself the garment of a man. But he wants to say something slightly different here. The rabbi said, he brings in a midrash to Tehillim, Amar Rebbe Shmuel about NACHMAN. He said, it's a nekeva, because we always see that in this world, the man is pursuing the female. And as a result of that, he surrounds her and he keeps looking for her. And the nekeva to Sovev is a zachar, but in the future, the woman will be going after the man. So this is the concept: the female surrounds the man. Because in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mechazer al Yisrael she'yasu tshuva, that so he comes back on the Jewish people and he says, you need the Jews to do tshuva, v'yasa ritzonov, and they should do what Hashem's will is. But in the next world, in the future, in the next world, in the next dimension, the Yisrael will be going after HaKadosh Baruch Hu, she'asa ritzono, so that she could do his will. As ruchi eitim bekir bechem, because he says, I'm going to put my ruach inside of you. You'll have it. So this going back to this idea that the woman will be ahead of the man. This is in the time of the Mashiach. The Mashiach is represented by the 6th day. The Lama Taf is Malvushe Ashkenaz. So that's the answer. The answer is what this, I don't have the depth in this to say what it is, because it sounds a little bit like something else that I'm familiar with, and Rav Schick went off in a slight direction. So he wants to say that the reason why they put on the male clothing is because they're preparing themselves for the future in which the female is going to be the dominant part. I could say this, the only thing I could say about to understand about this is that the whole purpose of creation is to build the female, because the world itself is female. And if you're going to build this, that's the misakein, it may take your elevator ride from there, then that's going to make a tremendous difference. So now he says, but if that's the answer, and that's what it is that in the future, that the female will have the garments, at least, of a male. We'll see how this comes out in the rest of the story. But why German? Why should she put on German clothing? Why should she put on specifically German clothing? Now, Rav Schick, European background, says like this: Shazeh Germania Harura. What is Ashkenaz? Ashkenaz is Germany. Hamaleki Yamach Shemam. They're the Amalekim. Yamach Shemam. Sharak Mashiach said Kenny Ya'akor some that only the Mashiach could be able to uproot to them. Min Oilam. Lagomoshe Kosev, it's written Milchama Lahavaya B'Amalek Midor Dor. That every single generation will be fighting, that Hashem will Havaya, which is Yudke Vavke, will be fighting with Amalek every generation. The Darsha Chamenda Kadashas, the rabbis write on this. Asi La'amo Dor, there's going to become a time that a generation will stand, She'akaras Amalek Min Olam, that he will uproot Amalek from the world. Now, at this point, I really don't understand. He wants to say, why did they put on German clothes? Because these people are going to then destroy the Germans, who represent Amalek. So my question is, what they actually get out of changing their clothes, or putting on the clothes of the Amalekim. So let's see what happens in the rest of the story, and maybe we'll have the answer.